Hi everyone, I'm back. So this is, I think, the fifth or sixth video that I'm recording. And just to fill you in, if you're new on this channel, hello, my name is Andy. I am a middle-aged trans woman, and I'm using this space to kind of document and talk about my thoughts, my musings. As you might get as I talk through this video, I'm not doing anything particularly fancy. I'm just talking into a camera, no editing, nothing special, and seeing how it goes. And it's kind of funny because today is the first day that I checked some of the statistics on my channel, and I've had 12 views on my second video, 2 on my first, which is odd. I have 1 whole subscriber, which is crazy. I can't believe that people are watching these videos, or actually, to be more accurate, people are watching my second video. I think the average watching time for my first was something like 0.1 seconds, and something like 40 seconds on my second video. So if you're actually managing to make it through these videos, congratulations, I suppose, and thank you very much. I hope that you find these videos interesting, rewarding, whatever. I don't know. Maybe not. For my 1 solitary subscriber, thank you very much. That's really quite sweet, and I don't know what to say. 1 whole subscriber. Wow. I'm not being sarcastic, by the way. That's genuine. That's really quite nice to think that somebody has watched my videos and have found them, or video, has found it to be interesting enough to warrant subscription. So that's very, very nice. Anyway, so okay, this video, what am I going to talk about this time round? So I actually had a conversation with my mum on Sunday, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the coming out process and how I have found that. It's kind of like the coming out process slash just a general sense of my sort of progress, so to speak, over the last few months. And I guess that's kind of like swallowed up in the coming out thing, I suppose. And I guess it's weird to just sort of go back to kind of pre-transitional days, to sort of how I perceived the concept of coming out. And I don't know if you saw my first video where I talked a bit about my history. You will have seen that, generally speaking, I was quite wary about the nature of publicly announcing my transness to one other person, let alone the world. It was petrifying. I grew up in a time where the only icons of transgenderism were punchlines, crazy people, certainly not people to be aspiring to, that's for sure, not somebody that you'd want to admit that you are like. So the notion of like admitting that to another person was really quite intimidating. But I'd lived several decades, multiple decades, until I started feeling that this was something I could share with some person or people. And the first 2 or 3 people that I came out to, I remember on the one hand, I was pretty anxious, but at the same time, I had this clear sense, this clear feeling that I just can't contain this anymore. I just felt so ready to just explode. And if I didn't announce it to one other person, I was going to do something. When I say do something crazy, what I mean by this is I was seriously considering announcing this to the world by going onto something like Facebook and just putting a post saying, "Hi guys, I am trans, bye," and then just dealing with the aftermath, which still is kind of tempting in a way. It is a very efficient way of getting the message out, but probably not the best for my kind of mental health. So yeah, the first person that I spoke to, I was nervous, I was anxious, but the thing is, I played out that conversation so many times in my head for decades. For decades I'd had that conversation. I had mentally answered all of the questions that I thought that I might be asked. I was ready to put my arguments and my justifications forwards. If I was to be grilled or quizzed or interrogated, if that's what was going to happen. But I think my overarching emotion during and then immediately after that process was one of just pure elation, just absolute joy, and also I don't think I'd realized quite how much weight was on my shoulders, on my chest, on my soul. The weight of this secret, the weight of this shame, the weight of this uncertainty of when I announce this, how is this going to land? Is this going to be something that's going to be hugely traumatic for the people around me, or is it something that people are actually going to accept me for? And I'm so proud to say that it is the latter. There are thousands, millions of stories from other trans people online talking about how awful their coming out journey has been, how they found that with their family, with their parents, with their peer group, they've run into nothing but trouble and negativity, and that has only just ramped up that shame and ill feeling towards themselves. And that's so bad. I feel so awful for those people. They don't get to share in the joyousness of being able to share who you are with the world in a way that is accepted and embraced and loved. But my story, my journey, it's been one of acceptance, and it has been one of love, and not just from others, but the more that I talk to other people, the more that I come out to other people, the more I found that I've been able to accept and love myself as well. It's very much been a kind of a two-way street. The more that I open up, and it's funny, I was also talking to my dad and his wife, and his wife was saying, because I came out to them very recently, and she was saying that that conversation that we'd had when I came out to her, like she'd never felt that we'd ever had that kind of conversation where we were expressing like the love we had for each other, the admiration that we had for each other. And although the news might have come as a bit of a shock to them, the fact is, she came away from that conversation, and hopefully will come away from every subsequent conversation, feeling that it's actually brought us closer together. That now that I'm much more able to share like the entirety of myself with them, they're going to feel a lot more connected to me as an individual, and I think that's amazing, and that is a wonderful kind of side effect of this part of the journey. And it's kind of funny that in my head I had all of these sort of negative thoughts about coming out and having these conversations. I think most people probably do, but like each time it's just, I've just been so fortunate. I've been so lucky. I'm so grateful for the people around me and in my life, and it's just so touching how much they've accepted this part of me. It's quite astonishing. And I was saying to my mother that, I say to a lot of people, that I don't think I would be able to go down this path if I didn't have this group of people in my life who I could be so confident that I have that connection to. And again, as I say, I feel so grateful for this. I feel so privileged to have these people in my life. And it's just, I don't know, is it luck? Is it something that I've cultivated? I don't know, but like it's just great. And as I was saying to my mother, I was looking back at kind of how far I have come from those days where I would be having these kind of like bleak, miserable cycles of like just pure negativity. to today where I feel so loved and I feel so, and again, not just from other people, but internally. You know, I was saying to her that there's a colleague that I have, and I got my hair cut like a while ago. I don't know, it's a bit untidy now, but it's still quite nice. And she'd heard about this, and you know, because obviously we work online, and we were talking. I was talking to another colleague, and she'd spoken to this other one, and you know, she knew about me. Actually, somebody else had told her, which was good. And she made the point of calling me up, and she wanted to see my hair, and she gave me a compliment about my hair, and it filled me with just absolute joy. I was literally dancing around my flat for the rest of the day because somebody had taken the time to call me on Zoom, compliment my hair, and that was literally the entirety of the call. And it was so touching, it was so sweet, it was so supportive, just something like that. It just made my absolute month. And as I was talking about this with my mother, it occurred to me that, like, in the past, like, periods, things which should have made me that happy, never did. I think in my first video I talk about, like, when I got a promotion and all I felt was relief. And now it's like I've gone from that to a point where if somebody gives me, a meaningful and like a heartfelt compliment, it fills me with such joy. You know, I can look at myself at least I can start looking at myself in the mirror now, and I'm not satisfied with everything. And, you know, there's things that I still hope will develop over time. You know, I'm still not 100% there with my face, despite the fact I'm putting it out there on the internet, of course. But there's features of my body now that I really like, and that's amazing. You know, like, to go from having a body which I'm kind of like putting up with, you know, I'm just dealing with at best, tolerating, to where I'm actually looking and admiring myself. It's like, that's such a change, you know, that's such a change. And again, I'd say to a lot of people, it's not so much the physical changes, although it helps. It's the psychological changes, you know, this feeling that I'm getting of, like, outer and inner love. This isn't because of physical changes. It's because of what I'm doing. And, you know, like, June's just around the corner. I may well be posting this at the start of June, in fact. It's Pride Month. This is my first Pride Month where I won't feel like a tourist. You know, I'm planning to go to the Pride Parade here where I live. And, you know, I've been to a few in the past, and each time I've gone, you might hear the dogs, by the way, each time I've gone, I felt like genuinely happy for the people around me. I felt genuinely, you know, I've looked around and I've seen, well, I mean, the pride, obviously. I mean, that's the name of the game, isn't it? I've seen their pride and I felt good for them, but at the same time, a certain degree of, like, not regret, but bitterness, I suppose, because I don't feel like I should be there celebrating that with them. But I'm feeling that now I can share that pride, I can share that joy, I can feel that sense of, like, look at what I have done and let's celebrate that. And I can also feel so much more part of that experience of, like, gratitude. Because I think that's the other side of pride as well. At least that's how I look at it, for sure. That sense of gratitude of, historically, all of those people that, I mean, these are the giants that we are standing on the shoulders of, the people who have suffered, who have died to give us the opportunity to express ourselves today. That's amazing. These people that we will never meet, these people that never even knew that we would have existed, we wouldn't have without those people that we should be celebrating alongside ourselves. It's such a meaningful thing for me. I mean, this year, but like I imagine every year going forward, as I see more and more changes, as I see more and more I don't know, just become more of me, become able to live more of my life. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. As you can tell, like, I think the coming out experience, it's been amazing for me. That's not to say that like everybody that I've spoken to has been like super trans positive. You know, like one of the people I spoke to was specifically because they'd been saying transphobic stuff online, and I wanted to just have a conversation about that. But that being said, like the range of like responses I've had have been interesting, some of which have been surprising. Only one person has said, yeah, that makes sense, I can see that, like it, yeah, that tracks, which is, you know, that's kind of annoying. I would have quite liked more people to say that, but yeah, generally everyone's been amazing, and I'm very, very grateful. I'm very proud. I'm very super lucky, and I know that's not reflective of everybody's experience, but maybe for you watching this video, maybe this will alleviate some of your fears. Maybe this will make you think, well, actually, you know what, maybe I can do this. Maybe, you know, all you need today, all you need to hear, if you're watching this video, if you're watching me today, and you're questioning whether you can speak to that person, the first person that you're going to speak to about who you are, regardless of what that might mean to you, can you do this? Yes. Yes, you can do this. It's really difficult. It's challenging. It's stressful. It's nerve-wracking. It's incredibly grueling. But once it's done, once it's out there in the world, you can't take that back. And that's kind of one of the reasons why it's scary. But at the same time, it's like, now it's real. And like, once that's done, for me, that weight, it was such a relief to get that off of my shoulders. And each time I've spoken to somebody, that weight has been lifted again and again and again. And those conversations have gotten easier and easier and easier each time I go. And now it's like, okay, I can just tell a stranger on the street now. I think it's not a big deal. But that being said, I mean, I might talk a little bit more about kind of like other musings on coming out. I just wanted to kind of talk about this side of things today. Maybe I'll make it in the immediate video that I do after this, whilst it's still on my mind. But yeah, if you're looking for a reason to do it, maybe this video will be that reason, and I hope so, because I found it to be a transformative experience in many senses of the word. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sticking through it. I hope that you found it inspiring, maybe. Don't know, maybe you watch this and it completely goes against your experience, and that's fine. Maybe you found that you've not had the same kind of positive experience I've had. That's, you know, that's sad, and I feel for you. But yeah, I hope that you can find some positivity in your life. In the meantime, thank you very much for coming. Thank you to my one sole subscriber. You mean the world to me. You absolutely do. And if anybody else is sticking around and watching these videos, thank you too. Thank you. And I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.